And we're back. We're back with Amy Hazel, me, the moderator, and Bruce Barry tying flies. Bruce is about to move on to his second fly. We just had a couple technical glitches, but we're back in the saddle. Bruce, what are you going to tie next?
Yeah, we lost everybody momentarily. So just to finish that last fly, Amy, the one thing I didn't mention was if you're absolutely not a fan of rabbit, these pine squirrel zonkers are kind of my newfound love and favorite. You guys sell these at the store, right?
We sell pine squirrel, not the whole skin zonk like that, but we sell the smaller packages. But you certainly can get those bigger zonked, the full skins.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a masochistic fly tire, you need the whole skin, but you really don't need the whole skin. But these things are cut so skinny and they're so easy to cast. That's a great rabbit substitute right there.
Everybody loves the micro pine squirrel.
Even trout, and they hate everything. Okay, so the next fly we're going to tie is going to be a lime and tequila. You know that fly.
I know it.
And I chose this one. I don't know. Like I fished, John Steelhead Coachman, or the man, for a long time. But every once in a while, especially since the dam changed up top, Amy, have you noticed that the river, it's clear sometimes, but the river generally has more color on it than it used to have?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's just something about that color where you can't see your boots from like knee deep to mid thigh deep that make me want just a little bit of green on the back end, which is just like a Steelhead Coachman, except different.
Well, like I told you, that fly of yours looks like a Steelhead Coachman and a Lum Plum had a baby.
Right. And when you said that, I totally get what you're saying too. It's so, yeah, very, very similar. And I love the Steelhead Coachman. I like the Slime and Tequila, and I like the Lum Plum is great. And so this is more space style hackle tip wing. That's one of the reasons why I like to fly. And then you can tie it tube style big. And we're just going to do it on a Alec Jackson number 5, usually a 7 to fish, but I think the 5 for video will be easier to see, huh? And I wouldn't be opposed to fishing it in a size 5. Ooh, we may have lost our interviewer.
Well, no, we have you. You have me. I'm just trying to find the feed so I can see the comments, and they disappeared.
All right, good. We can still hear you.
Okay. It's back now.
So I need a quick.
Lose our people.
Yeah, right. I mean, if the broadcast is going in and out, they're going to be like, "Hey, it's Corona. I've got a T-shirt I need to break in. I'm out of here." So, I don't know about you, Amy, but that Danville 6/0 number 8 orange is a special color of thread. I don't know that you need a lot of Danville, but that's what John ties the Steelhead Coachman with, right?
Yeah, maybe we have a lot of I don't sell Danville right now because you can't sell them all. I sell Uni and I sell UTC Ultra Thread.
Well, there's one other company that's matched that Steelhead Coachman head color, and it's not a normal orange. It's a little bit more marigold kind of.
It's a rusty orange.
Yeah, and then the other one, Danville Wine, is always a good one for steelhead flies, and Danville 508 FL Pink is the saltwater color of choice. But those 3 I have, so I'm going to use that one for the thread on this fly.
Perfect.
And I'm going to do it right now.
All right. I think we lost all our people. I think they gave up on us. Is anyone coming back?
Yeah, my mom's watching because she loves me. Okay. All right. Ooh, it didn't work.
Think how much coronavirus is on that thing.
I was just thinking about that, if that's bad to do during Corona. It's all right.
I won't be using your right bobbin anytime soon.
No, my right bobbin has not been at Walmart or Home Depot lately, so I think it's okay.
A lot of flies during lockdown, Bruce.
No, I have actually been
busy.
I've been re-stickering old Pro Sport Fisher packaging to update the packaging for like 3 weeks. It's miserable.
Are you going crazy doing that?
It's absolutely no fun.
Well, then you can just come out here and re-sticker all the product I have in my store.
I have extra stickers to do that in shops as I'm traveling too.
That's
But
going to
I've
be
got
not a
more.
lot of fun.
I have a short break right now, and there's more stickers being made for me. Okay, so with the hair wing,
It looks like some people are back.
great.
Paul
Sorry about
Conklin.
the glitch, everybody that's coming back. We had a little technical glitch. Thanks for hanging in there and coming back. And we lost transmission for a few minutes there. And we're going to try to get through this hair wing fly. So, Amy, when it comes to a hair wing hair, that's fin raccoon. People love polar bear. People tie with
polar
cattail. I'm just going to tie with the guard hairs of this fin. It's phenomenal. Stack super
that
easy.
looks awesome. You know what a really good material for a wing is? Skunk.
Yeah, real skunk.
Real skunk. If you can get your hands on a skunk skin, which is not hard to get, but the white part of skunk is as close to polar bear as anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, the other thing that I've seen people using recently is like that pseudo hair kind of stuff. It's a synthetic, and guys can make hair wings look really good with synthetics even.
Yeah. Well,
really
the world is going more and more towards synthetics because the real material is hard to get.
Harder and harder to come by, right? Okay, so
the thing I like about polar bear is though that it compresses really well, so you can get a very small head on your fly.
Right, and it kind of looks like, I mean, like it glows in the water. It's like Mother
Nature's
flash. Yeah, it's amazing looking. So to do this, I'm gonna take a little bit off the hide, and then, oh, I got some leather. Let me get rid of that. So if I put this on my leg and put my flea comb on the fluff, I can just grab the guards. Ooh, there's a broken one. Oh, there's two broken ones.
Oh, Silver Miner is here.
Hello, how are you?
Silver Miner got booted off, but now some people are coming back.
All right, so we just set the flea comb on the bottom of the hair and the butts, and then we pull the guards out, and boom, we got ourselves a hair wing.
Do you ever use that flea comb on yourself, Bruce?
Amy made it funny. Yes, I do.
Because you need it, buddy. Bruce?
Yeah.
So you're gonna tie in the wing first, huh?
Yes, this is how I learned from Mr. Hazel, Mr. Nash, and Mr. Kaufman, and Mr. Stetzer. So that's how I do it.
Okay, are you gonna tie the wing in reverse style here, or are you gonna tie it?
Yep, wings going in reverse, and my sweaty hands just lost half of that guard hair, so I got to get another little bit of guard hair because my hands are sweaty. Because it's the first sunny, hot day we've had this year that I know of.
Yeah, there's salmon flies all over the place on the Deschutes.
And we're talking,
let everyone know that golden stones, yellow sallies, and salmon flies everywhere.
And why are we talking steelhead flies when that's going on? You know what's interesting, Amy, is in the old days, the hatch would start from below Maupin, well below Maupin, and it would take a week to get up there, and then a week to get out into like White Horse, and a week and a half. I've got reports already that there's tons of them in the bushes up in Warm Springs. It's happening.
That's when they changed the dam releases. They started pouring all the water off the top. And again, you said just a few minutes ago that the water's not as clear as it used to be, not even close, because we're getting all the filthy algae laden water off the top of the reservoir. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Right. It doesn't filter itself like it used to when the cold water slides under. But yeah, it's different now just because, I mean, heck, in the old days, that hatch went till the third week of June-ish, maybe sometimes longer. And Warm Springs wouldn't see those flies for a while.
Yeah. Well, we're the hatch is always going to last as long as the weather is. If the weather gets hot and then cold and then hot and then cold, it lasts longer. Like last year, it lasted about 5 weeks.
Right. And we kept getting those sporadic rainstorms that would put them in the bushes, and then they'd come back out again for a day or two. All right. So we've got a little, just a couple 3-tap stack, not much. They don't need to be.
So you did just put that in a stacker?
I did. They come out really crazy off of that fin raccoon hide.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take from this is a return eye, Alex Jackson. What is it? 2150. 2151. Number 7 is what I'm. 7s I usually fish. I will fish 5s. I'm tying it on a 5, so it's a little bit bigger and easier to see in the video. And with that return,
the 2151 is black, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
They also make it in blue, which is kind of cool.
Right. And then
it's not very blue. It's kind of a black blue.
Yep. So you lose a little bit of distance on your wing when you tie it in facing forward. So I would usually want that from my head position to over the barb. I'm going to go slightly behind the barb for my tie-in. And this is another key when you're tying flies in reverse, wings in reverse. Where I start the thread is really key, because if I start that wing right here and then wrap a bunch of thread wraps forward, I lose that distance, and then that distance gets lost double, right, when I turn it back over. So I get that wing placed pretty much where I want to turn it, then I measure it, then I tie it in at that point, so I'm not losing any distance. It's these kind of tie-ins aren't fun to get the surprises, because the surprise is always bad if you get one.
And
And
it's after everything else on the fly is completely tied. The other thing that I do when I do the reverse, sometimes I'll actually use that return eye of the hook. Have you done that, where you can lay the
I open it with a
in
little
the eye, in the return eye?
Pop it in the return, and then it kind of looks like it just grows out of the middle of the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool way to do too. It's a little trickier for me. I haven't figured out, I can do it, but I can't do it fast and consistent. And we were talking about tying efficiency and fast, like that last fly took so long. But I think, Amy, through those years of tying, when you want to tie fast, some people just go with mundane, easy patterns, nothing to them. But it's really easy. Tie 24 or something. Get good at tying the fly. Once you're good at it, then go fast.
I agree.
That's the progression. I mean, you can tie anything fast.
For me, fast is that I tie like one of these hair wings. It takes 7 minutes, no matter how fast I try to go. There are some time consuming steps.
Right. And that's doesn't seem like a bad time to me. You know what I mean? Tying one.
Feels like a long time.
So on the hair wing, we have metal. So I want to put just a base of thread down so it holds the tail, and everything else forward tends to cling to a thread base better. And these don't have to be touching perfect packed wraps, and we bring it back to where the hang is right in front of the point. I don't want to go any further back than that, so I'll kind of skip and go wide and bring it back up forward. And then we're going to start in with the tail, which in this case, bought from Deschutes Angler, golden pheasant tippets.
Now, Bruce, when you tie this tail in, my suggestion to you is that you show people the what happens when you wrap back on it, like what not to do. Can you do that? Like when you make a wrap backwards onto the tail. Go ahead and tie it in.
Okay. I'm not totally sure I follow.
Okay, you will when you get it tied in.
Are you talking about the first body material you put on and then wrap over it?
No, I'm just saying when you tie the tail in, you've got to always wrap forward from the tie-in point, because if you wrap one wrap back, the whole tail splays out.
Oh, gotcha.
You knew
All
that,
right, so
of course.
I'm lining up my bars, and then once I get them lined up, I'm trading hands.
Nice.
And then I'm going to just give it a rip. That will keep everybody happy.
Nice.
All right. I don't know. You just said that. I might be doing it wrong the whole time, but I usually go up.
Maybe you do it your own
close
way.
to that rebend eye, but I pinch and don't let go and slide with it. Like I know what you're talking about. Like
I should just stop talking then.
No, I know what you're talking about, because if you're setting a muddler wing, Amy, and you make your first wrap with those two feathers, you make that first wrap. If you put one behind them, the wing will blow up.
Yeah, well, that's usually these tails can blow up like that too.
Right. I think I did a special pinch and slide. And then the tail's ugly to me, right? So I always pick it up and I put 1, 2 always, take a look, and sometimes a third, maybe a fourth, minimum 2. And now we like the way that's kicked, don't we?
Yeah, I like that. That looks good, Bruce.
That should match roughly the wing when we get the wing turned over.
So Bruce, let's hear a little bit about your first Deschutes steelhead. That's what I want to hear about.
Oh man, it was I had this old the guy from Beulah made so much fun of my boat. I had this old like 1984 high side clackercraft, and you know Brian Fuller, he was a customer in the store and a buddy of mine. And years and years and years ago, I mean, gosh, I think we had Scott STS 9-foot 8-weight rods, and we had those Cortland 444 SL rocket taper or 444 rocket taper lines.
Yeah.
and then the rocket taper sink tips for the midday stuff. But it was so busy on the river that we pulled over kind of above, what's that canyon called where the little water flows over the road? Jones.
Yep.
So that long straight above it that's just dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it holds fish, but we pulled over there and we sat there and we drank like 5 or 6 beers, got a buzz, started to get, back to normal.
You
The
drank
shadow was
beers,
coming.
Bruce?
And before the shadows were really set, there used to be a huge tree that was there. And I just stepped out because I was bored and started making casts. And I got annihilated by a 12-pound hen and didn't stick. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because I, never caught one on the Deschutes before and I never caught one with a dry line before. And I think I was going to wait 5 or 10 minutes and let it rest. And that probably lasted about 30 seconds. And I fired out another cast and got lucky and landed it. And that was super cool. I'll never forget.
There's absolutely no structure in that piece of water.
I know. It's crazy. I've caught so many fish in there.
If it weren't against the law, that's the one spot on the Deschutes that I would like to take a huge excavator and throw a bunch of boulders in there.
You could just create holding water like mad.
It's the perfect speed. It's just zero structure.
Yeah, and it's weird though. Like I know, and it's changed since I caught that fish there. The only thing I usually see holding in it consistently is Chinooks in the fall. They love sitting in that place. But that was super fun. I mean, that was awesome, and it was a nice big fish. It was cool too because we didn't really take it out of the water and take a picture of it. And when I let her go and kick the hook out of her mouth, I'll never forget. It was on a Randall Coffin one day. It goes, I dropped off like 10 dozen coal cars for the store or whatever. And he goes, if you really want to fish this thing, tie it with a little marabou wing instead of the hair. And I was like, ooh, a secret. So I had a Coffin's coal car, that black one with a marabou wing. And man, I fished that. It's like, like when you're in Little League and the one kid hits a home run, every other kid uses the same bat. I used that fly for the next like 3 years. It was insane. Okay, so this material is Danville nylon wool.
Best.
The color is fluorescent green.
That's what I use for the green butt of the Lum Plum.
That's right. This is good stuff.
Coming up in 2 weeks, I'll be tying it.
Okay, so I don't want a space between my tail tie-in and my first wrap here, so I'm making sure I don't wrap over the tail, but right back to it with 2 good wraps, and then coming forward. And this stuff I like to twist. Do you twist yours up a little tighter than it comes from off the spool, Amy?
Yeah, a little bit. If you twist it a little bit, it's much more compressed when you put it on the hook.
For those of you young tyers that don't have one, it's called a shepherd's hook, and they're awfully hard to find these days. But hackle plier and shepherd's hook, woo, spinny. Get that tightened up and wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the magic number. I went too far. There we go.
Good looking butt, Bruce. I've never told you that before.
No one's ever told me that before.
Hey, Bruce, hit that with the UV light and show why you want a green butt on your fly.
Yeah, if you feel like you need a little hot spot in the water, shazam.
Boom.
That stuff rips. That's good material. Nylon wool. Who's ever heard of such a thing? Wool is wool. Nylon's nylon. But it does look like wool. Okay, so next we're going to go with peacock, Amy.
Peacock.
Off the eye. And I'm going to use 5 strands, and they're long ones, but I'm going to show you a different style.
Bruce, you can buy that stuff strung.
I know. It's almost as good as this too. 1, 2, 3.
You're doing it the hard way.
4, 5. Okay, so.
You ever had a pet peacock, Bruce?
No, but there's that one on the Clackamas River that screams.
They're so obnoxious.
Super cool looking though. All right, so now we've got that bump where I finished the tie-in of the wing. Oh, by the way, if you were going to put 2 pieces of pearl crystal flash, that should have been step 2 right after the wing's on. I'm going en natural. All right, so I'm tying the peacock in tip first, and we're filling up that gap right back to the wool. And now when we make our loop, this is going to be hard to see on video, but I want this loop just shorter than the peacock. So I'm going to use the shepherd's hook for that to measure. And this is a no rib fly. I mean, this is why, because it doesn't need it. Okay, start the dubbing loop. You don't have to close the top of this dubbing loop, and then we're just going to get rid of our thread where the hackle is going to go. Okay, so this is pretty cool. The dubbing loop is shorter than the length of the peacock. I reach the shepherd hook through the dubbing hook, hook the peacock, and then I just pressure fit everything together at the bottom and spin it up.
Nice, Bruce. That makes it a lot more durable, does it not?
Oh, yeah. Don't even need a rib.
Bruce, one of your favorite dogs is crying and whining because she wants to go home and have dinner.
She wants you to walk over to that treat cupboard and open that up.
Yeah, that's what she really wants. Yeah, that's much more durable, Bruce. I like that.
Yeah. Doubled up 6/0, and then I just kind of spin it tight as I need it as I move forward so I don't over tighten at the back. Sometimes,
and if you didn't have a shepherd's hook, what would you suggest people use?
I would probably pinch them all with a hackle plier and then spin the hackle plier.
Yeah, that would work.
But not all hackle pliers are created equal. Some pinch better than others. All right.
Looking one good, more Bruce.
Ooh, 5 worked. It got me right to where I need that little space to fit some hackle in there. 1, 2, and 3. Let's cut that dubbing loop out. Peacock dubbing loop.
Nice. And then you put your hackle in, which I like. I really like the hackle in before you fold the wing back.
Right, me too.
I think that's the correct way to do it.
Have you ever seen one of these before, Amy?
What is it?
Henry Hoffman told me this was one of the last things he ever sold anybody at a show. It's a hen belly instead of a hen back.
Oh, wow. Hen belly.
Yep. I couldn't find my hen back, so that's what's going on.
Hen back's pretty easy to get still, but that material is not.
I think it's
Let
just
me see the size of the feather. That's a lot bigger than a hen back feather.
Yeah, hen backs seem like they'll range in size, and I want that hackle just about to the point of the hook.
Yeah.
This one might be just slightly, ever so slightly long, but we'll prep that and get rid of the fluff at the bottom. And now I'm going up to the tip. I like, as you've noticed from today, I like tip first tie-ins.
Yep, that's how I do it too.
Okay, and then cut your tie-in point, get in there with your fingers, bing. So we'll bring that to the hook, bing.
Mexico Outdoors just started watching.
Do you have any rule of thumb on how many turns of hackle you like on your steelhead flies, Amy?
I just do it until it looks how I like it.
Right.
You have an actual number, Bruce?
No, I mean, I think that some feathers are more dense and some feathers are more sparse. So you just kind of put 2, 3, 4, maybe it needs an extra one. Just play it by ear with a piece of hackle.
I do remember when I was first starting to tie, this part of the fly really intimidated me. So I used to strip off
half the hackle,
one half of the hackle, one side of the hackle, so that I was wrapping the bare stem onto the hook.
So there's the least amount as possible. I mean, that looks, I think that was 4 wraps. I'm going to bring it up to a tie out point and get rid of it. That looks pretty good to me.
That looks great. Now, so you could use a lot of different feathers for that. You could use guinea.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't be brown like that, but you could, you can get creative. The great thing about fly tying is that you can create your own patterns.
And if there's anything for those hen backs, Amy, the one thing that this thing doesn't have that the hen backs do is I like that little black speckles in there.
Yeah, it does have a little more modeling in it.
Yep, but these feathers really don't have any. Okay, so now to stand this wing up, I've done a million of these. Literally, this is what I mostly tied commercially. So instead of drawing that wing back and trying to cover it with wraps, just go slow. Bring your thread. Ooh, I got one errant hackle. Right, so I'm just standing the wing kind of vertical, straight up, and I'm trying to get those wraps tight. A couple right at it, and then forward. And I want to leave that little space so my 10-pound turtle knot can sit on the eye. I don't want to crowd it. And as I build that thread taper, I just let it push the wing back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go forward so they don't fall and then start climbing again. See how that thing's not standing vertical anymore? It's starting to taper back.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go forward again to lock everything up. Boom, boom. Oh, now I've made the turn, so now I'm on easy street.
Nice. So, that's a beautiful head, Bruce. That's like a really nice, tidy, small head. And I think that's the very hardest thing to do.
Right. And I had to tie him nice because I didn't like Randall Kaufman rejecting him, which he was quick to do.
But when you see a lot of people post flies and it's like, if it doesn't have a small, tiny, neat, compact head, that's the very first thing I look at. I don't know about you.
Right. I like him like that. And then it's going to look really good when we put a little glue on it too.
Yep.
And if Randall Kaufman's watching, just so you know, Randall, I used to let all those rejected flies sit at my house for a week and bring them back to you.
That's awesome, Bruce. Would he accept them the next time?
Yep.
Okay, we got a great question from Ryder Thomas. And Ryder Thomas, I know that I owe you some tan 2mm foam, and I just got it in, buddy. So I'll be sending that your way. He asked, tie the wing in that way for durability so the wing doesn't pull out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Bruce, talk about that a little bit, because that is why we tie the wing in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that hair wing, I mean, I don't know how many flies you can catch on a hair wing steelhead fly, but if it's tied well, you can usually, if you don't lose it, you can fish a hair wing for a summer, if not a couple of summers. So probably the hardest thing to tie on a steelhead fly durably is a wing. And so
Bruce, explain why that is, because it's, if you make some wraps over a wing that you've just tied in, not forward and reverse, if 3 hairs fall out, now you have a little gap where your head is, and then all the hairs fall out.
And then it doesn't matter. Like bucktail's probably the worst. It's the most slick.
Yeah.
Polar bear slick. Calftail's hard to tie in. It's just a material that just, if you want a nice, neat, tight, small head, it's hard to put 12 to 15 wraps on and get it compressed to the hook forever. I mean, most flies in the bin, you can just walk in and bink, just pull the wing right out of it.
Absolutely. That's the first thing that I can tell you. When John buys flies, when he buys hair wing flies, the rep will walk in and he'll just hold the fly up and just start ripping at the wing, and then comes out, he just throws it back in the guy's face.
I saw him do that once. He pulled the wing out and he said, "That's a good one. You got any more?" But ooh, we gone for an hour and 10 minutes. I say I'm going to save the next one for my next time doing this. It's pretty fun. Amy, can I be
Bruce,
your interviewer when you tie?
What was that, Bruce?
Can I be your interviewer when you tie?
I would like you to be. You're my Christmas Island buddy.
Right. We can't get back there fast enough.
We were the last American group on Christmas Island before coronavirus shut her down.
That's right. And
so, guys, thanks for watching. And you can get all the materials that you've seen here, nearly all of them. Probably not that Hoffman hen. What was that? Hen belly?
Yeah. Can you believe
You can't
it?
get that at Deschutes Angler, but you can get everything else at Deschutes Angler. We've got the hen backs.
Speckled henback works fine.
Bruce, you did an awesome job. Thanks for showing us all your techniques.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. It was fun talking. It's pretty good stories out
And
there.
you need to get busy with that flea comb tonight.
Right. Everybody that tuned in and watched, thanks a lot. And we'll talk to you soon.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. See you all in the river.